Hey, what's going on, Agents for Life? Welcome to podcast number 265. Hope you're having a wonderful end of year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I hope you're safe and spending some time with loved ones. I know we get all in on business all throughout the year, but you know what? I also believe in kind of a balance, right? And spending some time and taking some time off. So you got to decide what that is for you and how much you need business versus personal time, but do take some downtime. The end of year is a great time for reflection, taking a look at your year. Are you happy with your year and how things went? Maybe you're brand new with us and you're just starting for next year, but reflect on that. Reflect on your goals for 2025. Don't always be in your business, but also be working on your business, right? So it's important to sometimes take a little time away and look at the big picture. Some of the things that I've been doing is looking at where I can be more efficient with my time. So looking at the fluff, looking at some of the things I'm spending time on that maybe aren't as important. I'm asking everything for 2025. I'm asking with everything that I do, does this move me toward my 2025 goals or not? If the answer is no, I really have to take a second look at, should I be doing this? Because everything that's not pushing you towards your goal ultimately is going to be pulling you away from your goal. You can only spend your time doing one thing at a time, right? Unless you're really good at multitasking, which is a farce, by the way. But you know what I'm saying? We can only do so much, and streamlining into one area is key. And if you have a goal for 2025, go crush that thing and put everything behind it. Okay, there's so many ways to get distracted, including, entertainment and media, social media, like little distractions during the day that add up to 20 minutes or 45 minutes, even hours if you're not careful. You could rechannel those efforts back into your life, into things that matter and into your goals so that 2025 you can come out victorious at the end of the year. That's what it's about, right? Because we only got one shot at this thing called life. So take advantage of this end of year, this opportunity for some downtime, for some family time. Maybe clients aren't picking up the phone as much or prospects aren't answering because they're spending time with family, right? Well, if you haven't yet, mark some time for yourself, even if it's in the evening or on a weekend, where you can really put pen to paper on how serious you want to be in 2025 and what went wrong in 2024. Maybe some things that you can improve on. So I've done some of that. I'm going to continue to be doing some of that over the holidays between now and New Year's. But this is the podcast, and I've done this for the last 3 years. This is the podcast, kind of my recap, a little bit of accountability on my part, what I'm committed to, and then I'm going to go into my numbers carefully because I don't want to violate any FTC regulations. But I'm going to go into my numbers and share with you some of the things that statistically, the data that I did this year. So this isn't me patting myself on the back. I do feel good about my year. There's some things that I want to change in 2025. There are some things in 2024 that I'm not too totally thrilled with, but I did have some victories. So let's start with that. Because you know what? I'm a big believer in celebrating when you do have a victory. One of my victories in 2024, one of the big ones, was that I reached the level of regional manager. So that was pretty cool. I grew. We had a lot of team members. I don't have those specific numbers, but we did add quite a few. Actually, I probably do. Hold on one second. So far in 2024, yeah, I personally added about 33 or 34 agents, but the team, we grew by about 65 or so. So that's pretty good growth. I want to see in 2025 a higher percentage of success with those that come on board. So I'm going to really be focused on quality over quantity. So when I bring on an agent, really spending time helping them succeed from day one. That's one of the things that I'm really going to be focusing on is all of you. If you're new and you're listening to this, you're going to be one of the ones that I'm focusing on in 2025 and my effort of being a better mentor to people. So I was very excited about the growth overall. Production growth was very good. The team grew. That's what helped me get to regional manager from sales manager. Yeah. So, but personally, this is where I want to break down my numbers because some of you know, and if you don't, you're about to find out. I'm kind of a spreadsheet geek, and my wife makes fun of me, but I think spreadsheets are sexy and not as sexy as she is, but that's a different topic. But spreadsheets, I love spreadsheets. They're cool because there's so much you can do with them, and you can actually go in and you can diagnose and split up your business and look at different things, and you can. I mean, there's it gives you so much intel, and so much information that helps you see the profitability because it really is all about numbers. Numbers. I love numbers because they speak the truth. Okay. As long as they're accurate, they need to be accurate, but numbers speak the truth, whereas emotions lie. Emotions lie all day long, right? And twice on Sunday. So if you're following your emotion or if you're emotionally driven, you're going to have good weeks and bad weeks. You're going to be on that roller coaster. The numbers are what level that off. And that's why I'm really big on you tracking your numbers. So if that's not it hasn't been one of your strengths in 2024, I strongly challenge you to embrace that habit of tracking your numbers every single week. I used to do it on a dry erase board up in my bedroom for the first few years. I just do ticker marks with a dry erase marker. Then one day my wife said, "This is ugly. It doesn't need to be part of our bedroom anymore. I love your business, but I don't love your dry erase board." It was huge, right? And I knew the day was coming. I had to change. So I shifted my system and I still track everything. I use spreadsheets, but the principle is, guys, track your numbers. You have to do that. Okay, I'm going to step off my soapbox. You've all heard me tell you before. This is what you can do, and this is why it's important. I've been tracking my numbers, and I'm going to share with you the data that really helps me understand my business in a very accurate light. Okay, now this is all personal production. This is not team production. I'm going to compare last year to this year because there's some areas, a lot of areas of improvement, and there's some areas where it didn't improve so much. But I tracked every application. I tracked all my APV. I tracked all my paid APV. And the summary, in essence, is last year, 2023, I was submitting an average of 30,000 a month in annualized premium, just a little over 30,000, with a paid number of 17. So I had months better than that, months not so good. This year, in 2024, the numbers were 23 and 14. So my personal production was not as good as it was in 2023. 2023, I think I had my biggest year ever. I was a diamond producer, and I was issue paying well, an average of 17,000. Now, if you compare to some of the top producers at Equus, I think last year I was like number 19. I can't remember, but there were so many people much better personal production than I was. So I am not the top dog, but one thing that I was consistent. And what I'm going to show you is you don't have to be the top agent at Equus to make a lot of money to do really well. Consistency is actually key. Is hitting your stride, your numbers, what works for you, month over month over month. Okay. So last year, 30,000, this year, 23. And I'm actually okay with that. I didn't produce as much personally. And the reason for that is because I had to free up a little bit of time for growth. I had to be able to mentor people. We were building the agent website, the agent builder website. There were some other tools that I was working on, but being a mentor and helping new agents in the home, helping them get started, that took a little more time because I did a lot more of that this year than I have in years past. So it's actually a good move. And if I'm looking ahead at 2025, I'm guessing I'm going to be about there or maybe even a little less again, to again free up more space for building and growing. So I'm okay with that, with the decrease in the production. But what I did was I took all my income, I took all of my apps, I took all of my appointments, my sits, my sets, the numbers that I ask you to track. I tracked all of them. Of course, I do this myself, and I look at my ratios. And last year, I ran a total of 729 appointments. This year, I ran a total of 690 appointments. Last year, 490 sits. This year, 509 sits. My sit ratio went up quite a bit. So that was pretty good. Last year, 305 apps submitted. This year, 213 apps submitted. And then I gave you the total APV. My conversion or my, I guess, placement, it was 57 at 63 this last year. So I was happy with the increase in placement. It had more declines last year. So I'm getting better at underwriting. That's what that number's telling me. Now, here's where it gets a little bit more fun, though, because I take those numbers and now I just, with simple math, I can calculate exactly my profitability per appointment, per set, per sit, per everything, right? So the amount of income per appointment. Now, I'm not going to go into my actual income, and the reason for that is because I don't want to get the FTC. I want to make sure I stay compliant. But I did figure out an increase of 28% over last year. So I was 28% more income than I was at last year, which I was very happy with. I always would want it to be higher, but very happy with 28% higher than I was last year. Last year was the most I'd ever made in my life, including my job, including my journey at Equus. And by the way, every year that I've been at Equus, I've made more than the previous year. I've never made less. So my first year came out of the gate, I made almost double what I made at my job in gross income, factor in the net costs from advertising and then the lead bill, which is the big one. Still substantially more, not double, but I don't know what that number is exactly. That's how I started out my first year. 6 months working full-time, 6 months Equus full-time, and I made a lot more money than I did at my job. Second year was full-time the whole year instead of half and half. Income went up substantially from there. The third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, and now I'm happy to report year number 6. We are up again, never a loss. We've always been increasing, but this year was quite a jump, 28% over last year. So very happy with the income and the profitability side of the business. Now, those are net figures, not gross. I always factor in, I always take out the advertising costs, which we call leads. That's our marketing budget. So minus the leads. Last year, actually, and this year, both, I did more reviews. So I was doing a mix because I have a pretty big book of business from the first 4 years of my business or first 5 years. So I was going back and doing a lot of reviews, a lot of conversions, a lot of additional policies on my clients. So working my existing book of business has been really helpful in cutting my hard costs down, my marketing dollars. So I was more profitable. So that's why you see the profitability go up. And another reason why profitability went up besides the at the same time with having production going down. So profitability up, production down, because of being more efficient with my advertising dollars. So that was pretty cool. Anyways, amount of income per appointment. Okay. Every time I scheduled an appointment, didn't even have to show up. If I booked it in 2023, that dollar was 277. So every time I booked an appointment, I factored in all the income. I factored in the ratios, the number of appointments set, and just did simple math. And I made $277 per appointment last year in 2023. This year in 2024, that went up to $370. So every time I scheduled an appointment, I made $370. Now, every time someone showed up to the appointment, okay, so this is my sit ratio. $413 in 2023, $501 in 2024. So that also went up. I was very happy with that. And I like that I know that stuff because when you have a bad week and you know what, I'm not booking anything or nobody seems to be showing up or whatever. If you've had enough time and you've tracked your numbers and you know that every time you're booking something, you're making $300, whether they show up or not, just because time and history tells you that, makes you feel a little bit better about a week of no-shows, right? Because I did have some. I had some really bad weeks. In fact, my average show rate, last year was 74%, but previous to that, the year before that was 67%. And then if I go back to 2022, it was 55%. 2021, 67. So it's kind of toggled in there, but 74 was the highest. So I was happy about that. So maybe I'm doing something better with firming up my appointments. These are all, guys, these numbers, these are all indicators of something, and they're telling you, if you pay attention, to where you're shining and where you need work, where you need help. So overall, though, I've been really happy with all that, and I hope that that makes sense. I'm not here again to cast a spotlight on me. I just heard a lot of you saying that you really liked that episode or those episodes in the past, and we're looking forward to the new one this year. So I wanted to keep the tradition going and kind of report on my year end numbers and how things look, just so you can kind of look what might be ahead for you. If you're in year one and you want to see what it looks like from the perspective of someone that's been in business 6 years, I always appreciate that. Looking at what others are doing and and seeing what might be the case for me if I follow that same track. So that's why I'm putting this out for you. In 2025, again, my focus, I want to become a better listener. I want to go in on go all in on my goals and eliminate. This is probably the biggest thing because I am a creative mind by default. And I went to school to learn creativity, and I did creativity for 15 years as a creative director. I was always coming up with new ideas. I never stayed with the idea for a long period of time. It was always next thing, what's next, what's next, what's next. So good and bad. It was a fun career, but it's hard to stay with something for a long time. And so what happens is I like to try different things. And this is a weakness of mine that I know I have to stay streamlined to get this going even bigger and really take our business to the next level. Is I have to stay with what works. And sometimes I have to remind myself, go back to the basics. Don't get off track. Stay on the course. Do what works, right? Be more efficient with what works. So getting into the weeds or getting off into other things that don't really move the needle. I'm going to be doing less of that this year. I still like doing that to some degree because it feeds my creative side. I like marketing. I like trying new things, but I want to do more of what is really going to move my needle. So I'm going to be taking my goals. I'm going to be boiling them down into something simple. I'm going to be putting them on the wall. Here's where I want to be. And then every time, if I'm about to do something or if I'm about to make a decision, should I try this or try that or new shiny object, right? We hear things in our meetings and we even see, I'm on Facebook communities and I hear and see other people doing things. And sometimes I'm tempted. I'll be honest with you. Well, I should try that. I should try this, right? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take any of those experimental ideas and I'm going to look at my goals on the wall and I'm going to say, does this get me closer to my goals or could this take me away from my goals? And if the answer is it could take me away, I'm going to have a really hard look before I make that decision. And probably the decision is going to be no, because I have to streamline my activity. So that's a new focus that I'm going to be doing. Again, better listener. I'm going to be focused on helping my agents. I am not, I am trying to grow my team very aggressively. And I've got, and you know who you are, I've got a handful of agents that are lined up to be sales managers, hopefully in the first quarter. That is my goal. So that's what I love about Equus is for me to hit my next goal, I have to get some sales managers. I'm just being honest. I've got to get some sales managers. So I'm looking. And I've had some conversations with some folks already who are serious about it. And we're putting game plans together and we're going to be hitting it hard. Okay. And if you want to be one of those and we haven't talked yet, I really want you to raise your hand and say, yeah, you know what? I want to be a sales manager. Let's do this thing. Okay. Because I am really focused on getting 3, 4, 5 sales managers here in the first half of the year. And somebody's going to do it. I hope it's you. If not, you know what? Get as far as you can. Go from where you are to where you feel like a good goal would be. And maybe it's not sales manager yet, and that's okay. But everything is incremental. Everything is steps. If you from where you were to where you are, compare yourself from not with others, but from yourself this same time last year. How much did you grow this year? You might be you might not think it was a lot, but if you compare yourself to yourself a year ago, you might go, wow, you know what? I really did. But if you compare yourself to like Tanya Hughes or Deanna Cooper, you might go, man, I'm a loser. Those people are killing it out there. Don't compare the wrong direction. The only fair comparison is yourself in your past to see how you're doing along your journey. So, I may talk more about goals in the coming podcast because it's a big topic in January. Don't be surprised if I do. But for now, let me just end on this. Guys, the business is a blessing if you let it. This business, it's a numbers business. It's numbers based. If you look on your Equus dashboard, what you see mostly are numbers everywhere. I got spreadsheets that track my numbers. CEOs, guys, they all look at their numbers. And I want you to do the same. And if you haven't been good at it, commit to being better. 2024, look at your numbers. See what you need to do moving forward. 2025, set your goals from the insights that you get from your numbers. Your numbers will tell a story. And if you're not happy with that story, then that's where you want to set your goals. So you look at your numbers, analyze, pull some insights out of that, look at the good and the bad, and say, okay, for 2025, here's what needs to happen. And that'll give you clarity. If you're wondering about your goals, that'll give you some clarity on what you need to be doing to get to the next level. If you're confused, you know who to call, right? Not that I'm any kind of a goal expert, but I'll give you the best that I've got. I can promise you that. And together, I know we can achieve more because that's how teams operate, right? Plug in. Plug in. Don't be afraid to raise your hand if you're stuck, confused, if you want some advice, if you want to bounce an idea off me or anything, I'm here for you. In all my imperfections and all my craziness and all my I am as best as I can be right now, but I am offering myself to anybody that is on the team who is serious about achieving more in 2025. If you want 2025 to be a life-changing year, let's get after it. And it starts today. It starts now. Don't wait till January. Take the time over the holidays. Get your systems in place, set your goals, and hit the ground running next week so that January 1st, you've already got some momentum. Guys, I can't thank you enough for being on the team, for trusting in me in all my craziness. And I'm just being transparent about who I am and where I am. I have strengths and weaknesses just like everybody else. But I am thankful that you're here, that you've signed on, you've seen enough in me as a mentor or whatever role you see me in, that you're putting your trust in me. That means a lot to me, and I take that role very seriously. I want everybody that joins, I want so badly for all of you to succeed. Sometimes I want it more than you do. And you may not know that, but I think about you all. I've got my sheets here. I track everybody. I've got your names on. If you could see this, it looks like it's crazy, but it's a crazy that works in my mind. But know that I am looking out for all of you. I'm mindful of everybody. And I love more than my own celebrations and my own successes. I love watching my team succeed and hitting new levels and making money and making more money than they ever have, or hitting a new, anything, a new level. And I can't wait to see some of you hit sales manager. And I am looking forward to it. So thanks again. Thanks for listening. Hope you end your year on a positive note. Don't beat yourself up too hard. Learn and apply better habits, better mindset, and let's go crush 2025 like we've never seen in the past. Let's go change some lives and have some fun doing it. I'll take care and I'll see you later.